Welcome to Pop History. This episode looks at the story behind some of the popular events from September 1980. Let's get started. On September 1st, the official Preppy Handbook by Lisa Birnbach was published. This plaid-covered guide promised its reader that it would help them to be, quote, top drawer. Though it is written using the format of an actual manual, including illustrations and photos, the book was actually meant to be entirely satirical. However, some use the advice to help them appear more preppy. The tip on how to dress by wearing popped collar designer polos with sweaters knotted at the neck was especially popular. The book sold more than 1 million copies, helping to spread a pop culture trend and inspiring television and movie characters like Carlton Banks from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Cher Horowitz from Clueless. On September 2nd, New York mobster Joe Bananas, age 75, whose real name was Joseph Bonanno, was found guilty of conspiracy to interfere with a federal grand jury investigation of his son. The felony conviction was the first for the boss of the Bonanno crime family, whose criminal career had spanned over 50 years. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison, but only served 8 months. He was sent to prison again in 1985 for contempt of court after refusing to testify in a federal racketeering case and served 14 months. Born in Sicily, Bonanno had gotten his start in organized crime, serving as a gun runner for Al Capone. Though previously facing charges, he had managed to avoid conviction multiple times prior to this one. Bonanno has since appeared as a character or referenced several times in crime dramas, including the film Mobsters, The Sopranos, and Boardwalk Empire. On September 5th, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, also known as MADD, was founded by Candy Lightner after her daughter had been killed by a drunk driver. The organization, later altering its name to Mothers Against Drunk Driving, finally achieved its goal of lowering the legal blood alcohol content level in most states to 0.08 before the year 2000. For the 20 years it worked toward achieving its goal, the organization brought attention to the dangers of impaired driving, making it an important social issue, lobbying for legislation nationwide that would bring about changes in attitude and behavior. On September 7th, despite a strike by members of the Screen Actors Guild, the 32nd Primetime Emmy Awards were held in Pasadena, California. In support of the strike, 51 of the 52 nominated actors did not show up for the award ceremony. The only exception to the boycott was Powers Booth, who won the award for Outstanding Actor in a Dramatic Special. The award show, broadcast on NBC, was hosted by Steve Allen and Dick Clark. The top series awards went to the same shows, Taxi and Lou Grant, both winning for the second year in a row. On September 19th, the American psychological drama film Ordinary People was released in theaters. Directed by Robert Redford, in his directorial debut, the film stars Donald Sutherland, Mary Tyler Moore, and Judd Hirsch. Its storyline focuses on an upper-middle-class family in suburban Chicago who is struggling to return to normal life after the death of their oldest son, followed by the attempted suicide by his younger brother. Reviewers praised the film, which was a box office success, grossing over $90 million worldwide. The film won 5 awards, including Best Motion Picture at the Academy Awards that year, and at the 38th Golden Globe Awards the following year. On September 21st, Hartsfield Atlanta International Airport, the world's largest airport at the time, began operations. The complex covers almost 50 acres with 5 parallel runways, which handle almost 200 takeoffs and landings per hour. The terminal, which takes up 130 of those acres, has the capacity to handle over 50 million passengers per year. The north and south terminals are identical structures that are joined back to back to form one main terminal building. 4 additional parallel concourses are connected to the main building by underground trains and moving sidewalks, connecting all 192 gates. The underground movement of passengers allows all aircraft to taxi directly to and from their assigned gate from any part of the airport. On September 23rd, reggae singer Bob Marley performed his final concert held at the Stanley Theater in Pittsburgh. Just 2 days before, Marley had been diagnosed with brain cancer. The following day, his remaining concerts, scheduled for Philadelphia and Washington, were canceled. Sadly, Marley would die nearly 8 months later. On September 24th, William Bergstrom walked into Binion's Horseshoe Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, with 2 suitcases. One contained $777,000 in cash, the other one was empty. He proceeded to place the full amount in a single bet at the craps table, placing his chips on the don't pass line. Within 3 rolls, Bergstrom was a winner. Bergstrom packed his winnings into the empty suitcase and disappeared for 3.5 years before returning to place another, similar bet. According to rumor, Bergstrom had borrowed most of the money for the first bet, intending to commit suicide if he lost. Instead, he won and traveled the world for several years. After a 3rd trip to the casino in November of 1984 resulted in Bergstrom losing $1 million, he did commit suicide by swallowing pills. His suicide note indicated a breakup with a former lover as the reason he had chosen to die. On September 25th, while making an appearance on the Tomorrow Talk Show, Chevy Chase was compared to Cary Grant by host Tom Snyder. Chase replied that he thought Grant was a homo. The following day, Grant, 76, upset by the comment, sued Chase for slander, seeking $10 million in reparations. The two eventually settled out of court, the comment costing Chase $1 million. On September 29th, the single for the hit song Lady by Kenny Rogers was released. The song was also featured on the album Kenny Rogers' Greatest Hits. The song, originally titled Baby, was written by Lionel Richie, his first effort since leaving the Commodores. He originally offered it to the Commodores, but they turned it down. Rogers' former road manager, Garth Shaw, heard the song and introduced Richie to Rogers. After changing the title and adding some lyrics, Lady became the biggest selling hit for Rogers as a solo artist. Lady soon reached the #1 spot on the Hot 100 chart and stayed there for 6 weeks, tying Blondie's Call Me for the longest time in that spot that year. The success of Lady also boosted Richie's career, with the singer later re-recording Lady for his 1998 album Time. It was also added as a duet with Rogers on Richie's 2012 album Tuskegee. That wraps up our look at pop history from September 1980. Keep an eye out for our next episode coming soon, when we will look back at October of that year. For now, as always, thank you for watching and joining us in this stroll through our memories from 1980.